Hey, what's up, y'all? What's going on? This is Loving Mountains Huntsville, and we back, and we got some things to talk about. Child, this episode was something else with a lot of different themes and topics, so we got to discuss, and let's get into it. Hey, y'all, what's up? My name is Mizu. That's my channel, Mizu14, and I'm back doing a review of Loving Mountains Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 6, Being Lady Like. Okay, y'all. So let's get right into it because some people aggravated me in this episode, and I got some things to say. And wondering why this freaking reviews and not reviews and the numbers of the show is dwindling down because it's getting ridiculous to me at this point. It's getting ridiculous. But let's start. So we got Melanie went to talk to Tiffany. She went to check up on Tiffany because since that spa event, Tiffany and Kiki had some words with each other, going back and forth, back and forth. Like I feel, like I stated, Tiffany, you should have mind your business. At the end of the day, you should have mind your business. Whether you had a valid point or not, it was a wrong messenger. Because at the end of the day, girl, you don't know what's up. And for you to be so hostile and so animated about what you were saying, and coming at the Tiffany, no, coming at the Kiki, like you not pregnant. At the end of the day, and I hate when everybody trying to remind us that Tiffany is pregnant. We know that Tiffany's pregnant. I want to know if Tiffany knows that she's pregnant because you can't come after people being pregnant and expect someone to be cautious about you being pregnant. You can't do that. You don't be hostile. You don't come into my faces and all that stuff like that, and then you throw down you pregnant in people's faces to see that their moral compass is wrong. No, your moral compass is wrong because you shouldn't be putting yourself in a dangerous situation to get hit or cursed at, whatever it is, to get aggressive nature. You was doing the most. So for that, so Melanie invited Tiffany to the high tea event, and she said she would come because it's about etiquette and about communication and how to respectfully have communication with each other. And Tiffany said she will go. Now, Tiffany did ask about the party and the birthday thing, about Mariah's party, and Martell came. And I'm glad that Melody did show the recording because he acted a whole behind. He showed his whole behind at the party. But first of all, you was not invited. You wasn't invited at all. You knew you was not invited, but you came anyway. Because she said, oh, she invited everybody else, but not the dad. That's because you have an agreement. Don't you forget about that? Like, I don't understand why he don't understand that this is agreement. You have an agreement. And she said the odd number of years, she celebrate the birthdays. The even number of years, you celebrate the birthdays. And I believe also that it was her week with the kids anyway. So it aligned together. It was her week and it was an odd year. So she will celebrate the birthday. And she willing to let you take Mariah out later on that day, even though she didn't have to. She allowed you because you wanted to celebrate your daughter's birthday. And she said you could come get after. Now, did you do that? No, because Melody showed the recording. When they called Martell after the party finished, because the party was in the early afternoon, basically, and the early afternoon, like early, like 12 noon, 1 o'clock it ended. So it was still her birthday. So he could still come and get her. You was showing out, so why not? So they call. Sorry, my Wi-Fi going down. I have to cut it off. It's acting up. So it shows that they called you, and Mariah asked you back, "Or you come and get me later on?" Because you said you was gonna come and get her. Or at least that's what you was going him and hollering around, and she was telling you come and get her later on. And you had to leave. You left the party, so obviously we thinking you probably gonna get her later on since you was so mad about that. But at the end of the day, it wasn't about the child. It was about getting under Melody's skin, and that's what you're always trying to do. You're always trying to put it in the atmosphere and make people feel sorry for you, especially the ladies, because they just love to be with you or love your fineness and everything. Because they make all the excuses in the world to explain why Mel was the bad one. It was the wrong one here. No, Mel was not wrong. At the end of the day, you was not invited. She didn't have to invite you. You do two separate things. You have an agreement. Stick by the agreement and call it a day. Now, if you were more civilized and you was more respectful towards her and had an amicable divorce, and y'all was amicably good terms, then yes, I will see her. She invited you, but you're not in that space. And since you're not in that space, then she needs to keep her peace in any means necessary. And no, she's not keeping you from the child because she wanted to. She could have said no, but no, she decided to say, you know what? You could come get them later. You could come get her later. And when they called you and you said no, I'm going to get you Monday. So Melanie asked again. She said, "Oh, so you're not gonna come and get her?" She said, "No." He said, "No, man, I'll come get her on Monday." She chuckled because you said it was so funny. You create all these discourse and cause all this craziness at the party, and your intentions is not to celebrate the daughter's birthday. Because if that was your intentions, you would have came and got her. But no, you wanted to do it under Mel's dime, and that's the thing. You want to do it under Mel's dime, and like I said, I know a lot of people was doing that testimony and say, "Oh well, she's wrong." So I know she's not. She's not wrong. It's a court order. It's agreement. Abide by that. Now, if he was more, like I said, if he was more civilized person, okay, we all seen how he acts. So I don't understand why people coming in the top comment sections or Twitter saying that she's wrong. This is that. You see how he act. At the end of the day, yes, they co-parented. They got 4 children together. I want him to act like it. I want him to act like it is. And start making it seem like he's the only innocent one and Mel's the only one who's acting up in the bad one. And he does this, especially when we get on television. He always does to set it up to make it seem like Mel is the wrong one and bad, not act like he didn't do all this. And now let's not forget, he the one who was trying to get full custody anyway. So you think I will try to be amicable and be good with you when you try and take all 4 of my kids and do full custody when we have joint custody around full custody when we got joint custody? No, I'm not gonna be happy with you around. Especially how you act. You show up unannounced, you ambush her, you do this like you be stalkerish. Do too much. I ain't gonna forget like at least last season ago or 2 seasons ago when you left your whole business meeting to go and see what Mel was doing on her date. Like you left the whole meeting and drove where she's at, and recording her and everything. So you think she want to be safe around you? No, you show times and the time again when she let her guards down, you act up, and she can't do that anymore. She can't let her guards down, and y'all act like this has been like 15, 20 years past when this is divorced. No, it's still recently, and he's still recently acting up because he can't fathom the fact that she's finally moving on from him. She's not coming back to him. She's doing good, and she's doing successfully, and he no realize he messed all that up, and now he acting up because he can't take that she's moving on from him. So no, I'm not gonna sit here and act like that Mel was all wrong. No, she was every right to say what she had to say. You knew you was not invited. You should not show up. You want to act up and make it feel like Mel was the bad one. And some people fall for it. Some people fall for it. For what? For whatever reason. Because y'all would have had a Martell in your life, you would not. You trying to set boundaries yourself as well. So don't try to sit here act like it's all for the kids. And I think is it all for the kids? Then he would act civilized. And when it came and got his kid, said it was all about the kid. If you really wanted to celebrate, because she told you could come and get him later on, but you did not get it. You wanted to get it on Monday. So that's what it is. And it seems like Monday is the next week. So no. Or that was that weekend. So that Monday coming up. So no, it wasn't about the kid. So I'm glad she showed the recording and let us know that she did call him and he did say, "No, I'm gonna get you on Monday." It is what it is. And I know some people will say, "Oh, why she do that?" I said, "No, you got to have receipts with somebody like that. With a narcissistic like Martell, you got to have receipts, recording and everything." And I think some states recording someone without their permission is not illegal. Some states at all, but some states is not. So you just got to know what your state is in and know your rules. And yeah, the law, know the law. So she recorded the conversation. It was rightfully so, because he could come around and say, "Lie, no, she didn't call me. She didn't do all that," and then you got to prove yourself. And she had to do all that because of the known liar he is. But that's that. Here go this section I'm not looking forward to talk about because Hot Boxer Kimmy. If y'all watch my review and you don't know, you haven't been following me on lives. Hotbox is a nickname I gave to Maurice. So if I say his name Hotbox, that's who I'm talking about, y'all. All right? Hotbox and Kimmy is talking about disciplining Monster. Maurice Jr. That's what they call his son, Monster. Disciplining Monster. Monster didn't clean his room out. And Kimmy tried telling him to discipline, clean his room, and try to force the rules, and he doesn't do it. So she's looking for Hotbox to step up as the dad to enforce the rules of him cleaning up his room, because you is the actual parent. Yes, she's the bonus parent, but at the same time, she's not the parent of Monster. It's you and Kiowa. So she having a hard time enforcing it because Hotbox is not enforcing it. He's not forcing the rules, and he having a difficult time. How you have a difficult time with your own son? Sometimes, yes, it could be hard. Raising teenagers could be hard, especially in the transition period that when Monster was going through. That he came from his house, home with his mom, predominantly, and then transitioned to live with you, Maurice. But I think it's coming like a couple of years right now. So like a year or two right now. So it should be good. But no, you want freaking Monster to come to live with you or to put it on Kimmy to do the discipline and you the dad. Like that's what I understand. I completely understand where Kimmy is coming from about having Monster live with you. Because it's like, you want him to live with me. I raised my son. He is grown. I'm not doing this all over again. I'm gonna help you, but you need to be the predominant parent in this household and discipline. And I will force the rules that you and Kiowa put forth. And that's what it is. Whatever discipline model you'll have, I need to respect that. So if you say no, don't spank my child, I gotta respect that I can't spank you. So I gotta let you know that he not cleaned up his room. He didn't do his responsibilities, and what you gotta discipline and how you discipline it. Now, if your Kyle came on the discipline model and said, "Listen, Kimmy, if he doesn't do this, you can do this," then I do in the confines of what you said. So no, when she comes to you as the father of Monster, you need to discipline him. And cleaning up his room is one of his responsibilities, and you know that's his responsibilities. So you need to discipline him, and don't leave it up to Kimmy, especially when you know she's recovering for her big C battle. And yes, it's getting better, but she's still in the other stages that she got to get the surgery, all that stuff stuff. So it's still gonna relapse. So you don't want to stress her out. Now she's in the kitchen cooking and trying to explain to you all this, and all you want to hear, oh, it's hard time disciplining it is, it's hard time. And she trying to tell you, you need to step up and discipline him. Now you don't want to do that. So why are you trying to put it all on Kimmy? And that's why I was like so aggravated with him, because it was like this freaking B, yes, he's a B right now, is really trying to put it all on Kimmy. Like you, not the father. And then what also got me hot in the pants was freaking he called FaceTime Kiowa and try to throw Kimmy under the bus. Like, and then he tried to make a comparison like, oh, Monster issue is that because you still have some things in dealings with his mom. So he acted. I said, nah, we're not putting this. Kiowa and Kimmy is in the better place right now. So it's not no issue with no Kiowa. Her issue is with you. You, the father, you need to discipline him. And if I tell him, if I force some rules and he's not doing it, you ask the parent to do that. Now, Maurice want Kimmy to do it. And I said that she raised her child, she's not doing it. You want to raise Monster like it's Jalen. I said, no, that's not her child. She's a bonus parent. As a bonus parent, I don't want to overstep my boundaries and do something that you and Kiowa is not comfortable with. So when I force some rules, and this is the rules that you put in place, then you need to step up and do it. And if he's Monster's not stepping up, why is he here? It seems like you put everything on Kimmy, like she supposed to raise him, and you just your hands are scot free, hands free, clean. Ain't no one nothing part of it, because you don't want to act like you the bad parent and make Kimmy the one who's a target for Monster disdain. No. So you trying to call FaceTime Kiowa for what? And Kimmy said, well, you FaceTime her. You don't need to FaceTime her. It was not necessary because at the end of the day, my issues with you. You need to discipline. So he called Kiowa, tell Kiowa all the stuff, and try to flip it and make it seem like, oh, Kimmy has an issue with you. And I said, I know you did not try to flip it, like it said she has an issue with her, why she can't discipline the son and everything. And he said, oh, do you respect and trust Kimmy enough to discipline your son and everything? And she said, absolutely. But he played it wrong, and Kimmy had to explain it correctly. And Kiowa understood Kimmy. And even though she does trust Kimmy to discipline Monster without her being there, she still understands why Kimmy wants to let y'all be involved and let y'all be the dominant parent to help you enforce the rules that y'all set in place and not overstep her boundaries in raising Monster because y'all are the parents. So the fact that he tried to flip it on Kimmy and try to come at Kiowa, it's like you is lowball a dusty ass bitch. Dusty. Cause that was freaking ridiculous that you had to put your wife in that situation for what over Kiowa so she could have some issue with Kimmy. And I'm glad Kiowa understood what Kimmy was coming from. And I said, I will understand. I said no, that's what sometimes people don't want to deal with people who have kids already. Because this is how the dynamics you deal with. Because as a voting parent, you don't want to overstep your boundaries. And then the kids will not listen to you because you're not their parent. And some of them will throw in your face, you're not my dad, you're not my mom. So like that. So yes, you need to step up. So when Kyra agreed with Kimmy, he don't understand that. So he had to say, we had to agree to disagree. I said, don't agree to disagree because now Kyra's on Kimmy's side. You don't agree with the sentiments, with her comments, with her statements that she appreciate Kimmy coming to her. And then coming to her because you didn't have to FaceTime her. Because you hoping that Kylie will get on Kimmy. And I said, or to agree with you that Kimmy had full reins to discipline your son. I said, no. She has some reins to discipline, but not to the extent that overstep what y'all put in place. Now, if y'all don't believe in timeout, she can't do that. Y'all don't believe in hitting, she can't do that. It's whatever y'all put in place. So step up as a dad and force it. Now, if you can't enforce it, why is he here? You beg and plead to have your son stay with you. And now your son stay with you predominantly for the year. You have a hard time. And then later on, you have a conversation with Martell, say you don't want him getting into society and disrespect rules and regulations, and because they can't do the stuff that we do at home. So that's where you need to start now and teach them, especially when you're a teenager, because this teenager is it's a period of time where you need to be focused with them. Because you're transitioning from being dependent to independent. And this is the prominent time where they go through a lot. Puberty, identity, expressive identity, peer groups, friendship, relationships. They go through a lot of transitioning things at this moment. So fitting in, social status, all that stuff is prevalent. Education, trying to find what they want to do, what they want to do in their life. This is a prominent time. So this is the time you need to be refocused on your teenage years. Because when they in adult 20s, they go to adulthood and they lost and they haven't had the tools, they go carry that with them. So yes, you need to step up and do it. And not put it on Kimmy. And that's what I said. I couldn't really stand Hotbox because I said you beg and pleaded, and now you don't want to do it, and now you having a hard time. How you having a hard time with your own son when you supposed to be doing that? Like no. So she's telling you to help her enforce it, and you can't do that. You want her to put on freaking Kimmy, and no, but you want to worry about her big C, but you're not worried about her big C in this regards. Boy, get out of my face. Get out of my face. So Stormy and Kiki meet up, and they went to a spiritual energies person, and she gonna do Reiki as a reading of energy and all that stuff like that, and the chakra, open up the energies and reading it, and also like that, and cleans out the negative energy from the person. So while he has some questions, rightfully so, because sometimes you don't understand, you ask questions. You don't want to be ignorant and say the wrong things. So you ask the questions, the lady answered it, and that's that. So she did her chakra reading on Stormy. Stormy got emotional at one point and everything. And I guess it was about expressing her words. She had a good heart. She cursed a lot, all that stuff like that. And that's how expressing how she expressed things. And then the person told Kiki that you gotta be careful with your words, who you ever express with your words, and your words are powerful. It has impact on what you say. And she does that. So after the energy meeting done, the lady left, and Kiki and Stormy had a conversation, and they understood each other. They kind of like alike in some way aspect. So that's why I was like, Kiki said she didn't get really offended what Stormy was saying because she understood what Stormy was saying, and that's what she didn't upset. What boils her, body is Tiffany, and rightfully so. Because Tiffany inserted herself in a situation that she shouldn't have inserted herself in. So it is what it is. So she really don't want to get to the point that she don't want to escalate with Tiffany because we could have civilized conversation. She said, "Yeah, you don't have to because she's pregnant." And I said, "Stop throwing in her face that we know she's pregnant." And that's what I'm glad what Kiki said. Well, I need Tiffany to know that she's mindful that she's pregnant, and they'll put herself in harm's way and arguing with someone that could escalate. All right. So Martell and Hotbox have a conversation, and Martell said the children is going things with the children is going well, but him and Melly not so much. I said I don't understand. You the one who have a whole issue. Mel is following an agreement. You is not following an agreement because you don't want to deal with the agreement because you trying to bulldoze her to be in your presence. You always trying to dominate how things goes. You always try to regulate because you want to have control, and that's the whole point. You don't have control, and that's what's bothering you that you don't have that with in regards to Melody. So you losing it, and also you messed up of your family because you don't have that like you used to. So, but when it comes to the party, he conveniently left out his part of things. Cause he said, "Oh, Mel, he came there and I tried to have a good time, and Mel talked to me, and she wanted to call the police." He said, "What led to that?" And he said, "It was no, we had a conversation, but it was no dramatics and all stuff. It was no anger." I said, "You was yelling at her mom, and not only that, you completely left out that you was not invited, right?" He didn't tell Hotbox that he was invited. He was not invited to the party. You also forget completely left out that she told you you're not invited to the party, but you could come get the girl later to celebrate her birthday, and you did come later on to get the birth kid. So you try to make it seem like Mel is making it very difficult for you to co-parent, which is not. So you is making it hard. But yet, it's not always it's not his fault. It's always Mel's fault. Blame Mel for everything. Okay. So I had a conversation about earlier when I talked about Hotbox. He don't want Mars to get out of the world and disrespect the law of society, and I said that's on you. You just start that now. And Martin's like he kind of understand what's coming from because he said he was less like Monster, not listening to the rules and everything. So he had self motivation of working out, of going to all to see, and do other things to get him in a right path. I said I don't know how much that helping because right now you still acting like a little boy, but okay, whatever. So we get to Mel's high tea, right? So Melly said the ladies could bring a +1. So to be honest, everybody bought themselves but Stormy. Stormy bought a +1. Everybody came in their own. And who she brought was her mom, Miss Betty. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I'm not featuring her. I don't care about Miss Betty because what we not gonna do is we get rid of one parent who was problematic to substitute that with another parent who's the same, acting the same way, getting her daughter's business. Now, do I understand what Miss Betty was saying? Yeah, she probably had a point. But at the same time, also, it's not Mel's responsibility for how people run with things on social media. She's not responsible for how people respond on social media. It's a lot of things people say on social media. So you gonna be always responding to everything that's on social media about you? No. So they talk about how to do proper the teas moment. When you stand up, you gotta pick up your plate with this thing. I forgot the name she called it, but it's a plate, the saucepan, the plate, the thing. And they when you get the sugar, you gotta swoop back and forth. That's salt the sugar faster instead of going like this. If you sitting down, you don't have to look up. You don't have to look at your plate. If you sitting down, you keep the plate sitting on the table. When you stand up, you gotta lift it up with that so you can put it on it like later, like. And they all dressed up in a nice little lady tea fashion with the hats. All that stuff. That's cute, right? So now, say I feel like there's some tensions going on in between the thing. It's some things not being said and everything. So she Nell said it's some energy between Stormy and Mel. So Miss Betty, Stormy's mom said, "Oh, it's the energy between Stormy and Mel, or the energy between me and Mel, Stormy's mothers and Mel." She said, "Okay, so I don't know you, Stormy." So he said, "I'm Stormy's mom." I said, "Okay." And so you don't really have much to say anything so like that. I said she understands. She not saying she have anything to do with it. She just said it was some energies coming around and need to be resolved and get out in the open. So they would say they feel like that she should stay out of it. I should say yes, she would stay out of it. And you know how Nell was respectful and listen to you talk, and then Storm, you cannot listen and sit there and let her talk out. And you want to keep over talking her. She said, "Oh, I gotta get out. I gotta get out. I don't even forget." No, that's why it's called effective communication. You listening, you're not listening. You listen to respond, and not listen to hearing to understand where she's coming from. Because when Nell was talking, you trying to cut her off. You was not kind of, you did. So she said, so I like the Miss Cat was she was a person who was teaching my etiquette. And she said etiquette is all about how people energy that make people feel about you. So how people other feels around you. That's what etiquette is. So this Betty issue is about a tweet. Who recorded her conversation? She said, "Who recorded my conversation?" Now I don't know if that was an interview or not, or the conversation was recorded, but I would say that was Dusty for Destiny to bring that up last season anyway. I said, "What's the point?" At the end of the day, she don't even care. She don't care what he dating, and I said, rightfully so. She don't care. Why she just care? It is what it is. It's done with it. So that's that. So when social media, the people who ran with the story and think that was automatic Stormy, who got get clarifications, whether Mel clarify or not and being direct. She felt like Mel should have said it wasn't Stormy and be direct. So Mel apologized. She said if the tweet she not if she said the tweet offended you, I apologize for that. Because people ran with the story, but at the end of the day, people ran with a lot of things. That's on them. You're gonna be on social media all the time defending yourself and not have a break where you say things or you do things on tweets and people ran with their own narrative. If people thought it was Stormy and she didn't say it, can she say it wasn't Stormy? Yes, she can, but she didn't because she's not responsible how other people ran with stories. People say a lot of things about y'all. Whether you get on social media and identify things or not, that's on you. Like for example, a lot of people say a lot of things about Beyonce. She don't really say much, and she don't go back and forth with y'all. I use an example. Some other artists I can use an example too. They don't go back and forth on social media like that. Like Janet Jackson, a lot of other people do it. They don't go back and forth with fans like that. And that's something really is out of character, out of pocket. Like for example, with the guys for too sexy for the thing. We're trying to blast Beyonce like she didn't get no rights to use the Too sexy for this stuff. Like something sample and dumb. And she put out receipts. Says, yes, I did. We did it at clearance, and you got paid well. And after she put it out there, they shut up. But normally she don't have to. Normally, if she got the legalities, which she does, she's a businesswoman. She does it right. So I'm to say that is that you don't always have to run on social media and clarify things all the time because people want to misperform things. Let them have it. Because when you know the truth, you know the truth. Could she be direct? Yes, she could have been. But at the end of the day, why you ran with that? Because it could be anybody who did it. Why you only ran with Stormy? So she wanted to be direct. But I would say, Betty, to me, your issue with Mel is always changing. Because I feel like when you had the interview with Carlos, no, when Stormy had an interview with Carlos, you said something else that was a different reason why you didn't like her. So your reason's changing. So what is it? It's a tweet. It's an energy. It's about this. It seems to me when you first met Melanie, you didn't like her for off of it. And that's what it is. And we're not going to have this none of Miss Wanda situation. So, Carlos, you got rid of Miss Wanda. Now you're going to make Miss Betty as replacement? Get out of here. I don't want that. Get out of here. So, out of all that, Mel apologized because she wasn't going back and forth. At the end of the day, I understood Miss Betty, but at the same time, Mel don't have to do that. People ran with stories all the time. They look stupid enough on them. So that's what this is. And as you get famous and you get more involved, people go run with narratives. It's up to you to respond or not. If you don't respond, it's not it means it's true. It doesn't mean it's true or not. So people ran with Stormy, that's all them. Let them feel dusty. Because she only said who recorded me. She what? She left it open and vague that it could be Stormy. I said, whatever. It is what it is. I mean, y'all tell me how y'all feel in the comment section down below. Do y'all understand? Do y'all agree? And at the end of the day, I feel like whatever. People ran with the story, and that's on them. I'm not responsible for what they ran with. So your issue with me is a tweet? Really? Girl, get out of my face. All right, so Kiki decided she had to have her moment with Tiffany. It come back and forth with Tiffany. Now, I do like Kiki. I really don't care for Tiffany that much. But I ain't go front. Kiki was doing the most a little bit. Now, I understand Kiki's frustration with Tiffany because Tiffany had to involve herself in the situation. So, yes, whatever come out her mouth is what you get because you came after her. So, if you didn't want no smoke from Kiki, you should never came after her. Period. Now, the comment at the end about the father thing, I do feel that was very distasteful. But at the same time, like I said, Kiki and Tiffany are not in a good space right now. So this is not in a good space. It is what it is. Now, Tiffany spent her side. I said, at the end of the day, Tiffany understands, but at the same time, girl, you was not part of this. You was not there. You didn't have to search yourself. You should have sat down and be quiet, and you would not got the smoke from Kiki. You would never. Especially, instead from a spa day. That's the reason why Mel wanted to do this tea thing, because it's derived from a spa and communication that wasn't right. So I feel like this stems from that. So because it stems from that, Kiki has the right to feel how she feels and come after Tiffany hot. Did she have to come in the way how she came? Not necessarily. But at the same time, I understand it. So I say, yes, Tiffany, but at the same time, you should involve yourself. If you don't know the situation, you don't should involve yourself. And you very strongly about it. You was cursing up the storm and all that stuff like that. Now, before we get to that, now Cameron did say if you curse words, that means you lack of vocabulary. It's not necessarily you lack of vocabulary. It's like sometimes curse words is just easy to say. So, but you don't have to always use it. But she did say if that's how you roll, that's how people know you, that's who you are, then so be it. That's your character. But sometimes people do use curse words because they don't know a lot of vocabulary to articulate themselves without cursing all the time. So I somewhat agree with that sentiment, but somewhat I don't agree with it because sometimes you can have a good vocabulary and still curse every now and then. But you can still read a chick without using curse words as well. So you just gotta know how to use it when you need to use it. But when you use it all the time, that must be your character. If people know you, then that's it. But don't get offended when people call you out on it, and you always and you know yourself that you curse a lot, and you try to do better. So do better about it. So now back with Kiki and Tiffany. So like I said, if Tiffany didn't want to smoke with Kiki, she should never came after her first. Period. I stand by that. It should never came after her first. Now, the whole thing about I don't know of you, I don't know of you and everything. Now Kiki said that you know me. We were in the same social circle sometimes. My son played your husband's on baseball team. You talk to my mom. We have a conversation. You know of me. You know me. And you is lying and saying that you don't know nothing about me and you know me. So for sit here and make it seem like you never have a conversation with her, you only heard about other people, you never really met her in life. I understand what Kiki comes from. So don't sit here and lie and say you never met me when you have. So Tiffany said, yeah, I do. Yes, I do know that. I do all that. I was only going by the stuff from what she said. I said, they say that. You made it seem like you never met Kiki and you just go by for what Tisha doing. And I said, no, you know her a little bit. Enough to know that you sat down with her when Mel invited Kiki over to find your father. You didn't say, I don't know her. I don't know why she's here and everything. But Tiffany said, we never met face to face, one on one, and sit down. That's rightfully so. That's fine. But you met her enough to know some things. And she said you were introduced to the group as Mel's friend only, but you also Teacher's cousin. She never denied she was Teacher's cousin. That's what I'm saying. Where you was coming from. Yes, they introduced Kiki as knowing Mel and being a friend of Mel. But Kiki always made it be known, and everybody in that table made it be known that she was Tisha's cousin. She always made it be known. So that was not no denying about that. So when you don't know the family dynamics between Tisha and Kiki, then you don't have no right to talk about it. So they're going back and forth. She said, Eli, I will try to be there to help you for your father. Now we're going back and forth. And she said, well, did you follow up? She said, no, did she? That's her dad. And so Kimi was asking, did you follow up? Did you call her afterwards? And you say even though I understand, I was like, yeah, you say you was there for me. Did you follow up with me and see what's going on, see how I'm feeling, what's going on, any updates? So don't throw it out there as you were doing me a favor or you were doing some good things, but then you wasn't really following up anything that you would say you was doing. So it's kind of like throwing in my face that you was doing something good thing for me, but then you was just only using that as a way to shun me. So she said, "Oh well, I like you. I know my dad," and that was a dig. That definitely was a dig. I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna front. That was a dig, and you didn't do it out there. That was out of pocket. Cause you know how sensitive that topic was for Tiffany. Like I said, I understand why Kiki went through it because she was hot and heavy when Tiffany came after her for the spa thing. So I'm not on nobody's side. I see I see Kiki's side of the mostly because Tiffany they came after her first. Because Tiffany is just pot stirrer. She start things as held back like, oh my God, what I say. No, you does these things. So no, you was just as responsible in this breakdown between you and Kiki as much as everything else. So I understand where Kiki coming from in that aspect that she had smoked with Tiffany. But it was a dig to Tiffany by saying that, Kiki. And you knew you was doing that as a dig. You knew it was. Even whether you was not intentional or not. I feel like she knew that it was a dig to hurt Tiffany. So Kat will try and get Kiki and say, I understand you upset, calm down, woosah. Sometimes we get to a hype moment. You just let it breathe. And you get some improper way to get your point across that you feel like you're being lied to. And you didn't like to be lied to. And it's up to Tiffany to respond to that in a better moment. So at that tea event, I feel like it was a dig But at the same time, Tiffany, you had to understand this was coming. It is what it is. So she apologized for that. I'm glad everybody knew that wasn't. I was like, oh, that was way too much. And then she said, "Oh, Pat, poor Pistol of Soul," or something like that. Kiki was doing a little couple of digs to Tiffany, which I understand. Like I said, she rightfully so because she was upset. But I felt like it was being a little bit too much, in my opinion. So at the tea event, I'm in the middle. I'm neutral about it. I see what thing was coming from. How she took left and went left. Tiffany should involve herself and all stuff like that. And that's the next week, Tiffany will have an issue with Tisha. So I was like, you know what? Tiffany just loves to start drama. That's what she is. And now she's using this pregnancy as a clutch so people don't come after her hard. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So we'll see how this goes, y'all. That was my review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Please like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Tell me how you feel about the comment section down below. I may premiere this. If not, it just be public. And let me know how y'all feel. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.